3 days late. Their rent was due on the 1st. Do you send a notice? Call them? Wait it out hoping they just forgot? The wrong move here can cost you thousands in lost rent, legal fees, and tenant turnover. You need a system, not a hope. The moment rent is late, your clock starts ticking, but not for panic. Most California leases include a grace period, typically 3 to 5 days. During this time, you do nothing. Zero. No calls, no texts, no emails. Your lease outlines the due date and the late fee. The grace period is for the tenant, not for your intervention. You are not a bill collector. You are a landlord enforcing a contract. Your lease should clearly state that rent is due on the 1st and considered late on the 2nd, with a grace period extending to the 3rd or 5th. This clarity protects you. For example, if rent is due on the 1st and your lease states a 5-day grace period, the first day you can legally charge a late fee and initiate formal communication is the 6th. If you contact them before the grace period ends, you are undermining your own lease and setting a precedent for leniency that will haunt you. But wait, there's a catch. Your lease must specify the late fee amount. California Civil Code Section 1671 generally allows for reasonable late fees, typically a percentage of the rent or a flat fee. Anything excessive can be challenged in court. A $100 late fee on a $2,000 rent is often considered reasonable. A $500 late fee on that same rent? You'll lose that argument. The grace period is over. It's now day 6, or whatever day your lease dictates. Rent is still unpaid. This is when your systematic approach kicks in. Your next step, and often the most critical, is serving a 3-day notice to pay rent or quit. This isn't a suggestion. It's a legal prerequisite for eviction in California. This notice must be accurate and served correctly, or any subsequent eviction case will be thrown out. The notice must state the exact amount of rent due, the period for which it is due, and unequivocally demand payment within 3 calendar days or possession of the property. Do not include late fees, utilities, or any other charges in the rent due amount on this notice. Only the base rent. Adding anything else invalidates the notice under California law. Now about serving it. Personal service is best. Hand it directly to the tenant. If they aren't home, you can use substitute service, leave it with a person of suitable age and discretion at the property, and mail a copy by first-class mail. Finally, if no one is available, you can post and mail. Affix the notice to a conspicuous place on the property, like the front door, and mail a copy. All service methods must be followed precisely. Document everything: date, time, method of service, and who you served. A common mistake is serving on a Friday and expecting the 3 days to include the weekend. California law excludes weekends and judicial holidays from the 3-day count if the 3rd day falls on one. So if you serve on a Friday, the 3 days don't start until Monday, and the notice expires on Wednesday. Miss this detail, and you've wasted your time and money. While the 3-day notice is processing, you need to open a communication channel. This isn't about shaming, it's about problem solving. Your goal: get the rent. The notice is your leverage. Your conversation is your diplomacy. Start with a neutral fact-based email or text. Hi, tenant name. I'm following up on the rent payment for month. It was due on the 1st, and as of today, date, we have not received it. A 3-day notice to pay or quit was served on date of service. Please let me know when we can expect payment or if you are experiencing any difficulties. Now here's where it gets interesting. Do not accuse, do not assume. You are offering a chance for them to explain, which often reveals the real issue. Maybe they had a medical emergency, a car repair, or a payroll delay. Empathy combined with firm expectations is key. Your tone should be firm but understanding. Avoid phrases like, "Why haven't you paid?" or "You always do this." Instead, focus on, "How can we resolve this?" or "What's your plan to bring the account current?" Remember, you want the rent, not a vacant unit. A good tenant who hits a temporary snag is far more valuable than a new, unknown tenant. Data consistently shows that tenant turnover costs landlords between 1.5 to 3 months' rent in vacancy, cleaning, repairs, and re-leasing fees. Losing a good tenant over a single late payment is financially illogical. Sometimes tenants genuinely cannot pay the full amount immediately. This is where a payment plan can save you thousands. A payment plan is a strategic move to mitigate loss, not an act of charity. Offer it only after the 3-day notice has been served and the tenant has made contact, explaining their situation. Never offer a payment plan before formal notice. You undermine your own process. When should you offer one? When the tenant has a good payment history, communicates proactively, and has a credible plan to catch up. Do not offer a payment plan to a tenant who consistently pays late or provides vague excuses. How do you structure it? Get it in writing. This is non-negotiable. A simple agreement outlining the total amount due, including late fees from your lease, the payment schedule, and a clause stating that failure to adhere to the plan will result in immediate termination of the agreement and resumption of the eviction process. For example, if they owe $2,000 rent and a $100 late fee, the plan might be $1,000 today, and $1,100 including next month's rent on the first of the following month. Make it clear that future rent payments must also be on time. This agreement is a legally binding modification of your lease for a specific period. It saves you the $5,000 to $10,000 an eviction can cost in legal fees, lost rent, and property damage. You've served the 3-day notice. You've had the conversation. You've offered a payment plan, or they declined or didn't qualify. The 3 days have passed, and rent is still unpaid. Now you file for eviction. Do not delay. Every day you wait after the 3-day notice expires is a day of lost rent you will likely never recover. This is not personal, it is business. You are protecting your asset. When to wait? Only if the tenant has agreed to a payment plan and is actively fulfilling it, or if they paid the full amount due, including late fees, within the 3-day notice period. Otherwise, proceed. The California eviction process, or unlawful detainer, is complex and unforgiving of errors. You will need to file a summons and complaint with the court, serve it, and proceed through hearings. This is not a DIY project for the faint of heart. Most independent landlords wisely hire an attorney specializing in landlord-tenant law for this stage. The cost is an investment to protect your property and your income. Remember, the goal is to get paid or get the property back so you can re-rent it. Prolonging the process out of misplaced sympathy will cost you far more than acting decisively. Consistency is everything. Apply your late fee policy the same way every time. California's 3-day notice must be served correctly, or it's invalid in court. A payment plan saves you $5,000 to $10,000 in eviction costs, but it must be in writing. And finally, make it easy for tenants to pay on time. Implementing an online payment system with autopay options can reduce late payments by as much as 85%, freeing you from constant rent collection. Powered by LeaseBase Intelligence.